Is it live, yeah?
It's not rolling.
That's fine.
Good afternoon and welcome once again to Behind the Play, the show that brings you highlights from recent Britbowl games and gets analysis from the people that were involved. I'm Matt Walker. Thanks for joining us again this afternoon. Weather is picked up and we're looking forward to another great show here on Behind the Play. I'm joined this week by my old partner in crime, Mr. Carl Walkinshaw.
How you doing, Matt? Really good to be here. Thanks for having me on. And this game looks to be a good one. Got junior game we're looking back on to fill our Sundays full of football again.
Absolutely, Carl. As Carl said, we're looking back this afternoon on the Under-19 Britbowl final from 2019, the East Kilbride Pirates against the London Blitz. And we are very fortunate to have two of the key components of that game with us this afternoon. We have head coach from the Blitz, Jason Henry, and we also have linebacker and NFL Academy GB star Alex Greenhow. We'll say hello to those guys a little bit later on. But Carl, how have you been over the lockdown? Not seen you for a while, bud.
Good. Well, you know, I've had to learn how to cut my own hair, Matt. I know it's a problem that you have, so I've had to come out and learn how to clip my own hair. I've been to the dentist twice and had 2 teeth removed due to an abscess. Oh, my woes continue, Matt. I tell you, it's been terrible. But I'm here. Lockdown's nearly over by the looks of things, so I'm excited to. At least we've got some football on a Sunday afternoon, eh? That's the main thing.
And that's what we're aiming for, trying to bring a bit of football back to the Britbowl community in the absence of live football. So without further ado then, we'll speak to Alex and Coach Henry a little bit later on. But sit back, settle down and watch the highlights of the Under-19 Britbowl final from 2019, the London Blitz against the East Kilbride Pirates.
And we are underway, and a cheeky little kick into space which sails out of bounds. And as it sails out of bounds, that's where play will begin from, although the flag has come out, because if you are new to the game, that ball must stay in bounds as on the kickoff, otherwise you as the kicking team will receive a penalty. And here is our referee, David Knight.
Legal procedure: free kick out of bounds on the kicking team, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So illegal procedure basically means that they've transgressed the rules. They're not allowed to kick the ball straight out of play on the kickoff, and now they will start first down and 10 on their own 38-yard line. Now, I'm going to run through, Carl, intricacies and basics of the game. If you are new to the sport, each team, when they're on offense, they have 4 attempts to move the ball 10 yards down the field. They can do this by either handing the ball off to a running back, or they can do it by throwing the ball through the air to a receiver. If they're successful in gaining those 10 yards, they get another 10 yards. As on first down, the ball is handed off at the middle, and there's a big gap up the middle for that East Kilbride running back. And as you see there, he has gone past that orange marker on the far side of your screen, which means he will have another first down. So again, first down and 10 Pirates. Black once again receives a handoff, and he has a big hole over the left-hand side of the line. He gets past the mark for another first down. Carl Walkinshaw.
Very surprising, isn't it? 2 first downs straight away for this East Kilbride Pirates offense. They're moving quickly, they're running the ball well, they're creating gaps on this defensive line for the London Blitz. The Blitz now need to rally and make an adjustment as they put 7 in the blocks.
Oh, nearly jumping the snap there, but Black manages to elude that blitzing defender and picks up 3 yards. That will be second down, which means their second attempt, and they now need 7 more yards to gain that first 10. So if they manage to gain these 7 yards, they'll get another first down. So 2nd and 7 for the Pirates. Good opening drive so far for the men from north of the border. Little delay as the quarterback adjusts his plan, and he goes back to pass, and he's got a man, and he hits that receiver, Scott McKigan, the quarterback. So McKigan at quarterback once again. He's got a running back to his left, and he's going to the air. McKigan looks on the slant, and that's in and out of the hands of the defensive back, and that defensive back is Matteo McDowell. And because East Kilbride run successful on that 4th down play, you see a change of teams, and the Blitz will take the offense for the first time. First down as the quarterback hands off. He hands off to Temi Fagbemi, and he's on his feet and being wrestled to the sideline, but look at the strength by the running back, and on the tackle there is Ben Gallagher. You can see at the top of your screen now that number 3, just where the official is. There it is, that number 3. It's third down, their third opportunity. They need 3 yards to pick up another first down. Livy hands the ball off, and this time it's Lennox Osebini, and Lennox gets back to the line of scrimmage, but no further. 2 running backs either side of him. He drops back to pass and he puts the ball up. He's got a receiver there, and that is well defended by number 20, Ethan Stewart, for the Pirates. So with a short field, which basically means that the East Kilbride Pirates haven't got a lot of room before the Blitz score. A short field, the Pirates defending very, very well. But Carl, you know, as a defensive coordinator, if you've not got a lot of field to defend, it makes it a little easier.
Yeah, it's 9-a-side football, so there is space on the field for these teams, but I'm impressed so far by EKP's plays on the edge.
McKigan back to the area, has a man in the back of the end zone. It's caught! 1 foot down in the field of play, and that is the first score of the afternoon. Number 84, Leonardo Sophocles. So the extra point attempt is up and it's blocked. Number 74 for the Pirates has that ball land in his hands, Stephen Murdoch. And Murdoch just trundles that one out of play. But basically, as a result of that blocked extra point, the Blitz will kick off once again.
You'll see on the replay here the quick feet of Sophocles managing to keep his 2 feet in bounds.
This is the under-19 British final between the London Blitz and the East Kilbride Pirates. Part of Britbowl 33 weekend here, as the ball is fumbled on the kickoff and manages to retain it, does the returner, and then he is flattened just inside, just outside the 15-yard line. Christian Rubuga again with return duties, and the Pirates will take over once again.
But we've got a big turnout from the East Kilbride fans. I would say there's more EKP fans here than London.
So back to the air, and that's the Blitz coming, and he's sacked. That's Keenan Diobi once again taking down McKigan. So here we go, trying to clear their lines, as it were, and he's in trouble. Another big pressure from the Blitz special teams unit, and they're going to have fantastic field position once again, but the ball does roll kindly for the Pirates out of bounds at about the 35-yard line, call it the 33, and the Blitz offense led by Marco Livy come back to work again.
And the problem is field position. For those of you new to American football, field position is such an important part of this game. You can see that London Blitz are already starting this drive in the EKP half.
2 running backs on this one, and a beautiful jump step to his right, and now he looks to try and turn the corner, but Fagbemi is stopped, and he's stopped viciously by Ronan Hadow. So handoff once again, there's a flag comes out, and it looks like Fagbemi is going to go in for 6, but from where that flag is thrown, and a flag is the yellow duster or hanky that you can see, and you will see shortly in the middle of the field, the likelihood of that is that's going to be holding against the London Blitz, and it looks like number 58, Jamie Bell, is guilty here. And listen to our referee.
Holding. On the offence, number 58, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, 4th down, and you would have already seen. You might think, well, it's 4th down, so therefore they're going to kick the ball away. Well, they've got a couple of options. They can either keep their offense on the field, which Livy, it looks like they are doing, and he drops back to pass, and he's got his man on the far side again. It's in and out of the hands of the receiver who caught that touchdown on the last play, and he just couldn't haul that one in this time. So, unfortunately, Sophocles here on that slant call.
Yeah, you can see on the replay here, the quarterback Livy does all he can, but Sophocles just can't hold on to it, maybe trying to turn his head upfield and get that touchdown, catches the ball at the 2.
There are 3 East Kilbride players there, not knowing which of these Blitz players is going to come and put pressure on McKigan, and they all come, and McKigan has to get it away, and the bonus with that is that's really well defended that time. That's Khalid Adisas. The punt is this time, it gets it off very well, but it's a bobbly one. It doesn't make a great contact off his boot, and that ball comes to rest, and the Blitz will take over once again. And you mentioned field position earlier on, Carl, and at the moment the Blitz are winning that field position battle. So here goes Marco Livy again, and Marco Livy hands the ball off on first down, and once again very, very positive yardage. This time the ball carrier is Diobi, and they call the Blitzers running back crew the Four Horsemen because of the fact that they rotate these four very, very talented players.
And it means that you've always got a situation where you've got fresh runners coming into the backfield, Matt.
Diobi this time. Oh! Marco Livy doesn't see that linebacker, number 99, James Richards, just hovering in that spot, and James Richards almost picks that pass off. It'll be 4th and inches. Basically, only need a few inches to secure another 4 chances to move the ball, and you'd expect, with the way that this Blitz offense has started, that these inches won't be an issue to pick up. And there they are, and once again it's Diobi who falls forward, picks up 5 yards and a Blitz first down. And here comes Livy, and he goes to the air looking for a receiver, and it's in and out of the hands. Oh, and the flag, oh, it came out of the pocket, then went back into the pocket, and then came out once again at the end. The intended receiver was Darren Agu, and Agu still on the ground, and that's an interesting call there from the official. You saw him pull the flag out, have a think about it, pop it back away, and then I think he might be flagging for a late hit at the end. Let's see what the call is from our official, as referee David Knight consults with his crew. But whatever is going to happen, this is going to be against the Pirates. Here's referee Knight.
Pass interference. On the offense, number 15. 15-yard penalty. Second down.
So, Livy drops back to pass. He fakes the handoff, puts the ball up off his back foot. He's got a receiver out in front, and it's caught! And it's caught in traffic. And number 82 for the Blitz, Emmanuel Akaba, hauls that one in with a Pirate draped over his back. Ronan Hadow on the coverage. But the receiver, Akaba, manages to keep his concentration. Touchdown Blitz.
Well, we knew the Blitz could run the ball. We didn't know they were so accurate with the pass. Livy, an absolutely fantastic over-the-shoulder throw right underneath the goalposts to Emmanuel Akaba, who makes a fantastic catch under huge amounts of pressure. Good job, Blitz.
Now it's a very steep hill for the Pirates to climb as Livy goes back to the end zone, over the top, and that could be offensive pass interference against Agu once again. There was a definite push against the Pirates defender, Cole.
Yeah, you're not allowed to push off against another player in order to create space for you to catch the ball. So we'll see. That's twice now. We think that it's going to be called against Darren Agu. He's obviously
pass interference. On the offense, number 15. 15-yard penalty. Replay try.
He looks around at the referee as if to say, really? Me again? Twice now.
Well, if
he's been called on the play.
If he watches that back later on when he gets back home, he may well see what we all saw and the officials saw. But it is still the extra point attempt. Now again, teams are allowed to go for extra points either by kicking the ball through the uprights, or, and that will be a 1 point extra point, or if they attempt to try and get back into the end zone on the extra point try, they will be awarded 2 points. So Livy in the offense now, back close to the 20-yard line. He puts the ball up top again, looking for the receiver, and it's just out of the reach of Sophocles.
We look now at this touchdown throw, which was excellent. Livy under a big amount of pressure there, and he manages to get the ball to his receiver, Emmanuel Akaba, under the posts.
Another chip kick. And what this is suggesting to me is that the Blitz are more than happy with their defense and don't mind giving the Pirates the ball close to midfield, because at the moment they think, you know what, if we chip that ball on the kickoff, there's a chance we might recover and get possession. If we don't, our defense will stop you, and then we'll get pretty good field position anyway. So here we go, first down, East Kilbride. Can McKigan and this offense get moving any further than they have done so far? Here comes that threat of the Blitz. Look at the rush, but they avoid that rush this time, and Robbie McGregor has space, and he's into Blitz territory, down to the 30, pushed out of bounds at the 26-yard line. And I suppose, Carl, if you can push that ball wide and avoid that rush, that whole field opens up to you. So long way to go, a mountain to climb. Here comes that Blitz pressure, and there is pressure, and McKigan has to wrap that ball and just protect and secure it, because that wave of Blitz defenders is almost almost impossible to get round.
An opportunity here for EKP to do something. They've got the Blitz pinned back, but they need to bring some kind of pressure of their own.
Handoff once again, this time making the cut out is Temi Fagbemi, and Fagbemi has a gap and he puts on the afterburners, but flags come out, and when flags come out in that vicinity, that means that play's coming back. So 2nd and a yard, and this time the ball is handed off again. And Dolbaya gets the carry, and there's a signal from the Pirates that Dolbaya may well have dropped that football, and now the official, you can see them pointing to the right, which means that East Kilbride have turned the ball over, and they have a real scoring opportunity now, taking over first down inside the 20 of the Blitz.
A real opportunity here for them to put some points on the board and get back into this game halfway through this second quarter.
And here comes that Blitz showing again, and McKigan looks to try and get the ball away, and then in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, but there is a flag down again, and I think that might be pass interference. Which way that's going to go? We saw 2 pass interference calls against the Blitz offense earlier in the game. Is this one going to be against the offense or the defense, as our officials get together to discuss? To be fair though, they picked up the blitz of the Blitz that time, as McKigan this time looks to act about, and he's swamped, absolutely swamped by that defensive front, and the first man there was Emmanuel Akaba. 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. Low snap again, and this time McKigan escapes the pressure. Now he tucks the ball, throws it up for grabs, and it's in and out of the hands of Rory Hutton, and McKigan's instincts work well there. He escapes the initial pressure, steps up into the pocket, and then delivers a strike, but it probably was a little high for Hutton. Here comes the pressure from the Blitz, but they drop off this time. Ball popped over the middle, and it's intercepted at the 2-yard line, and the ball is being run back this time by Tundi Ganyu, and Tundi Ganyu is still on his feet. He's at midfield, he has people around him, he's at the 25, the 15, the 5, and he's pushed out of bounds, and there's a flag down, and where that flag has come down, that could be a penalty against the Blitz. That could be illegal contact, blocking the back. 4th down upcoming. It would be a massive stop if the Pirates can halt Livy and the Blitz offense on this one. Ball back in Livy's hands, he goes to the air, he's looking for the man over the top, the catch is made. Touchdown Blitz. This time it's Emmanuel Akaba for the 3rd score for the afternoon for the home team Blitz.
But it just shows you how devastating some of these turnovers can be, because East Kilbride had the ball the other side, and now it's the London Blitz to throw this one up. And it is number 84, Sophocles, that catches that one in the corner of the end zone. That's the 2nd touchdown for Sophocles today.
2nd and 10 for McKigan. This time the ball is handed off, and there is a little seam for the runner, and that should be a first down, and it is a first down. And the runner that time, number 30, Greg Black. Gone very, very quickly this first half, not even an hour into the game in terms of real time, as the ball handed off this time to Dolbaya, and Dolbaya has the edge, and he gets the first down, and he's off. He's at the 40, but a flag comes back again, and for all of Dolbaya's efforts, this one we think will be coming back. He's not seen the flag yet, but he'll be disappointed. Marco Livy walks back to the sideline, shaking his head. Quarterback Livy, he saw the flag, and unfortunately there will be another call, another big game wiped off the board. Great scenes from the stands there. Beautiful September day here, the 1st of September. See if he can add a hint of magic at the end of this first half. Ball is up and it's high and it hangs in the wind, and it's going to be a very short punt, which takes a bounce for the Pirates, and that could be the half-time interval right there. But here we go, the Pirates ready to kick off, get the second half underway, and it's a booming kick down to the 20-yard line where the Blitz will field that one, and the return guy Emmanuel Akaba makes one man miss, and he's slung out of bounds. Jack Anderson with the tackle. EKP defensive line not right on point as the ball is handed off to Dolbaya. Dolbaya runs laterally a long way, turns the corner, and as he turns the corner, a flag is flung from the centre of the field.
1st and 20, long way to go.
Handoff goes to Diobi once again, and the ball is dropped, and it's covered. Initially it looks like it's covered by the Blitz. That was Diobi on the carry, but it actually has been recovered by the Pirates, and an early turnover for the boys from north of the border.
First few exchanges of this second half are littered with errors. so far with penalties and the ball going back and forth and turnovers. 2nd and 15 to EKP. Here comes a blitz.
Oh, and the ball's out again, and it's on the ground, and it looks like Suin Oshin has fallen on that one and recovered, and there he holds the ball aloft, does Oshin, and that's going to be another quick turnover, but the pressure again up the middle, Carl, was incredible.
Almost in the position they lost it.
First down, handed off to Dolbaya, and Dolbaya has the edge once again, spins out of the tackle, picks up 5 yards, a beautiful move to get to the edge and elude that first tackler. Ball handed off once again, this time it runs to the left-hand side, and it's off tackle, busting the gap. Out for first down territory is Diobi, and he ran into an acre of space outside that left guard position. So 2nd and 7, Livy and that offense. Dolbaya, one of 2 backs alongside him, and Dolbaya this time both fakes, and Livy goes to the air and he's looking for that man again, and he's out in front, caught, touchdown, Sophocles. That's his hat-trick of scores for the afternoon, and London could be out of sight.
Sophocles again with the clutch catch. The defender there that time had 2 wide receivers streaking down the field and didn't know who to defend. He had to finally peel off and try and defend against Sophocles, but that's never going to work against a receiver with the caliber of Leonardo Sophocles. 3rd touchdown of the day, and that could be the nail in the coffin for these East Kilbride Pirates. 2-point conversion attempt, and it's good.
Caught and good by Agu this time. No offensive pass interference for Agu, and that extends the lead out to 26-0 in favour of the hometown Blitz. It's a long way back. Here's Livy. Livy dropping back, and that's the touchdown pass out to Sophocles. And it hangs up, and he just gets behind Ethan Stewart. He doesn't really have a chance to do much about that one.
Everything going to script for the London Blitz currently. Even the turnovers, when EKP are getting them, they're not able to exploit. Ball going straight back to the Blitz. 26-0 currently.
Akano kicks it deep. Rabugo off one bounce does get a lane outside and cuts back to the inside, and he's tackled very, very well, and a flag comes in late. 2 running backs. Ball comes back to Black to the left-hand side, and if he can get around the edge, he's got some room, and he has, and he gets his way past the markers for a first down and out close to midfield. Good run by Greg Black, exploiting the pressure of that blitz. Sounds strange to say, but that's exactly what it is, and gets up to midfield for a Pirate first down. So 3rd down, and this time it is Cochrane off to the left-hand side, jinks and jerks, and manages to find some room and picks up another Pirate first down. And there is definitely something going here from head coach Davis in this offense. Give some love to offensive coordinator Scott Frame of the Pirates, who's obviously adjusted this system. This time McKigan goes to the air and he picks out a man, and it's Matthew Black who makes the reception, then fumbles the ball, and Oshin is the man on the spot to recover for the Blitz. So just when the Pirates think they've got something going, another disaster, and it's turnover Blitz football. Just can't get enough going, EKP, to get back into this one. Ball handed off, and it's Fagbemi again to the right hand side, and he's got the edge, and there's another flag, and every time they've run this play so far, the ball comes out once again. But every time they've run that play and the Blitz running back has space around that right edge, it's been because of an illegal procedure, well, not an illegal procedure, but an illegal penalty by the Blitz offense, and this time I've no doubt it will be a hold against the Blitz, which will mark them back once again.
Got players like Mark Jackson, players like Devontae Kearney. These are players that don't get the glory that these running backs do, but they're the ones that make everything happen, and they've put up 26 points against a good AKP defense.
So here we go again, as this time Dolbaya gets a big hole up the middle, makes a tackle and miss, and he's down inside the 20 for another Blitz first down, and they're threatening again. Livy this time has 2 receivers to his left, and he looks to his right, and he's looking for the 4th touchdown of the day, and it's in and out of the hands of Sophocles. Dolbaya and Osai Bini remain in the backfield, 2 receivers to the left for the Blitz, and he looks to his left, comes back to the right, he's looking for that man again, up, corner of the end zone, another great defensive play, that time by Ethan Stewart. We mentioned his name a minute ago. Just outside the 30-yard line. McKigan this time hands off, and Black has a little bit of room out to the left-hand side. Stays on his feet. Good balance. Gets through the defenders. He's down to the 5-yard line. Best run of the afternoon for Matthew Black, and it's first and goal Pirates. Second and goal from the 7-yard line. Cochrane has a little bit of space there, gets inside the 5, and he's still on his feet all the way down to the 1-yard line, and that's how far the Pirates are away from breaking this duck. Third down, third and goal for the Pirates. Can they find a way through this dominant blitz defense? McKigan is going to take it himself, and he's going to be backed up and lose 5 on the play, and now fourth down. There's just no time at all. Can Ben Hewitt, and it's a fake, but the fake by Black doesn't really end up working because he bobbles the ball. He gets back to the 5-yard line. The pile is still being pushed as the Pirates try desperately, and he's going to be marked down at the 1-yard line. It could even be the 1 foot line. It is that close.
Wow, look at the pass of devastation on this team as they try and rugby scrum the ball.
Look where that football is, Cole.
Over the line.
It is practically touching the goal line. And what an effort by Black and that special teams unit to carry on that surge. He was initially hit at about the 5 and still managed to surge forward all the way centimetres away. That is an incredible effort, not only by the Pirates, but give credit once again to the defence of the Blitz.
Yeah, Blitz holding firm as they have done all season, making it very difficult to get a point on them. Now it's over to the EKP defence to see whether they can take advantage of this field position.
Oh, lovely cuts there by the running back, and that is Osei Binney, who dances his way out of his own end zone and gets up close to the 20-yard line. Clock continues to run. We're under a minute now. Sorry, Carl, go ahead.
London Blitz. Just as we come towards the end of this game, London Blitz have been so dominant, but it is worth mentioning their coach, Jason Henry, who's had a fantastic career with London Blitz at junior level over a number of years. And they really have impressed throughout this season and in previous seasons. Been dominant as this game comes to an end. A tribute to Jason Henry and the London Blitz, who are going to run out winners in this one. London Blitz 26, EKP 0, and here comes the Gatorade for coach, and there he goes and gets it. Jason Henry, we salute you, as do the whole of the London Blitz team. Very excited here to be national under-19 champions.
So there we have it. London Blitz 26, East Kilbride Pirates 0, in what sounds on the scoreboard like a very one-sided affair, but we'll dive into the analysis with our two guests today, first of which is the head coach from that successful Blitz team, Jason Henry. Afternoon, coach. Thanks for joining us.
No problem at any time. Good afternoon.
Hi there. Just very briefly before we go into those, the analysis, if you like, what does it actually mean? Most of us won't get the opportunity to play for a national title. You've played for loads of them. So what does it actually mean? What does it feel like running out onto the field knowing that you've got one more hurdle until you're crowned national champions?
It's always unique, the feeling, but the core is the same. You get super excited. As you get a little bit older, you get more excited about the players, especially if it's their first year. And the other coaches, you can see them really pumped up, and you kind of feed off of that. So it's always a really nice experience. And actually, it sometimes is climactic, the start of the game and the end of the game with all the adrenaline pumping out your system. That's it. It's almost like the come down and then the trip home. But yeah, so the energy levels are really high at that time.
We've experienced that feeling, like I said, on numerous occasions, which hopefully we'll touch on later. But we've also got with us this afternoon linebacker number 11 and GB under-19 player Alex Greenhalgh. Nice to see you, and thanks for joining us, Alex.
Thank you very much for having me. Nice to see you too.
You're more than welcome. Obviously, from your perspective, being part of the playing fraternity, if you like, on that particular day, and I know having one more season still of under-19 football left in you, again, you are almost on that national stage, and it was obviously televised. And what does it mean from a player perspective? Did it feel like the big occasion that it was?
Oh yeah, it really is crazy being on, on the stream I think on BBC Sport as well, and just having all your family watching. And for me, I missed the national championship the year before with a broken hand, so it was a really, really big deal and big opportunity to be able to play on that stage.
And it's great to be able to have you on as well today, because obviously you're very hopeful as being part of the NFL Academy, trying to secure a NCAA place in the near future. How's that going for you currently?
Oh yeah, it's going really well. So just finished my first year at the NFL Academy and now hoping to find a college to call home for the next 4 years. So just speaking to some schools at the moment and hopefully it will all come true.
Well, we wish you all the very best with that for your future endeavours. But without further ado, let's get into the highlights and let's get into the analysis. And my ever-esteemed defensive coordinator colleague from the NTU Renegades, Carl, you're going to kick us off, my friend.
Yeah, and it is a defensive question. Early on in the game, we're watching it now on the screen. EKP came out, and obviously London Blitz the whole season for the under-19 teams have been so difficult to score on. I think there was almost like 2 touchdowns have been scored on, even 1 touchdown the whole season. So EKP came out, as you can see on the screen, ran the ball really well on that opening drive. And I remember sitting in the commentary booth thinking I was surprised by the way that EKP had come out. So the first question is to Coach Henry. Were you surprised by the ease at which EKP came out? And what do you put that down to?
Do you know what? Good question. It's a national final, so I always prep the school. You know, these guys are there for a reason. They're good. And so they have the utmost respect to the players and the coaching staff. And normally we kind of script what we're going to do defensively. And so it gives me an opportunity to kind of have a look at what's happening in the matchups and seeing if what we kind of looked and planned about is going according to plan. And it also means that, you know, energy levels up. So people overshoot their mark, play a little bit tighter, play a little bit more aggressive, take a little time to settle down. So I always give, especially my defense, 2 drives. In fact, I gave them an extra drive and a half in this game to calm down. And I always say to them, if they survive 2 drives without conceding, then they got this. And that's what they did. They decided to calm down.
So towards the end of, I think, your first offensive series, you elected to go for it on 4th down rather than put points on the board. Is that a sign of as a head coach, your supreme confidence in your offense, rather than risking obviously coming up empty and possibly giving the momentum back to EKP? Talk us through that decision about going for it so early on 4th down.
Believe it or not, it's a numbers game. So yes, you have to back if you believe your defense is the best. You know, so again, every coach goes in thinking their offense, their special team, their defense is the best, their team overall is the best. And so I would go, do you know what? I'll let you march 90 yards on the field if we do miss this, and I'll then double up and go. But actually, we might not need to because I'm betting on my offense to give me those yards. So it's kind of a calculated risk. And field goals, you know, for me, are not as tight in these games as they should be. So sometimes the gamble pays off.
Yeah, and Alex, a question for you. We noticed as well from the London Blitz that after that first EKP drive, that what happened was the London Blitz started to bring a lot more pressure on EKP, and it seemed that pressure became your kind of call sign for the rest of the game. But how, as you as a linebacker, what sort of mindset do you have if you know that blitz has been called, especially in 9-a-side football? Talk us through how you go about blitzing an offense like EKP.
So for us, as coach said, you know, at the start of the game we had to settle in a bit, and then we kind of went to our traditional philosophy of sending quite a few blitzes. And it's just, you know, when coach gives that blitz call, knowing that you just got to go all out and go for the quarterback. And I was playing a lot more pass coverage in this game, so just having complete confidence in my guys blitzing that would be able to get to the QB so we could do our job properly and cover the wide receivers and make sure they can get downfield.
And then we switched back to the offensive side of the ball. And again, Livy had a great game at quarterback all day, but this particular play, it almost seemed like it was a bad decision at the time where he threw off his back foot, Jason. And is this, again, just sort of the confidence he has in the physicality of the weapons he's got out there catching the ball?
I would say we were very privileged to have some great receivers sort of peak for this season last year. And we've done a lot of work regard to timing. So actually, for me, that was about getting the ball out when it needs to happen. So technique-wise, that could be cleaned up. He still had a year left of eligibility. So if we were looking at the final this year, we we would most be looking at what success was in regards to the footwork. Last year, it was bang on. It was like, it's open, get the ball there. So being hit, falling backwards, let's get the ball there, let's go make a play. So I was happy as a coach that he did what we asked him to do. But also as a coach, there's a lot more room for improvement over the next 12, 24 months, however long he wants to play American football.
So then subsequently, you're now 2 scores up after that touchdown pass by Livy. And then the kickoff, a little chipped kickoff we saw there. Unusual again, not trying to put the opposition into bad field position. You almost giving them a short field to work on. Was that a strategy down again to confidence in your defence?
If you ever had a chance to kind of look back at the library of the past decade, you'll kind of see a theme in regards to our kickoffs. It's a numbers game again, so a lot is about numbers games. I would say this, touch wood, we haven't had a kick return against us for a touchdown in the past, someone will correct me somewhere, but I think about 10 years. So, yeah, it's a strategy. So sometimes we kick long and into space, and sometimes we kick short and give up 10 yards or 15 yards because we can defend that. That's kind of our philosophy. So, yes, it's not about disrespecting the team. It's about actually totally respecting the team and their kick returners, because we truly believe that they could do more damage in space. So if we do that, it's because we've given them the utmost respect to say, we'll give you the yards, but we're not going to give you the touchdown.
Okay, that's interesting. It is. So without being too controversial, Alex, we kind of... The defence, after that first EKP drive, pretty much the defence had stifled EKP. And I know when you watch highlights can be misleading about the actual flow of the game. But it very much did seem that the defence were working their backsides off and getting the offence good field position. And then for whatever reason, there was a sense of a struggle for the offence to be consistent. There were penalties, there were execution errors, and then this blitz fumble. Was there a sense of frustration from you as a defence that maybe you didn't feel the offence were doing their part at this stage?
Well, traditionally throughout the season, the offence had always taken a little bit longer to rev up and to get into their rhythm. So I wasn't really too worried, because I knew that the defence would hold strong, and we'd set the tone quite early on. And it was just a matter of time, I think, before the offence got rolling. The penalties were unfortunate and a few drop balls, but as you know, our running backs were absolutely dominant. And once they got into space and as the game developed, I think it just became clear. It was just a matter of time, really, until they got into their stride. Even though on the scoreboard, it looked like the defense was really shutting out EKP. I have to say that it was the hardest game of the season by far. They were really fit. It wasn't necessarily easy for the defense as well. They were giving us a hard time as well.
Yeah, this play as well, Coach Henry. Now back to Coach Henry, and you had a short drive here to put the game away, and then an interception. Did you feel like that was the end of the game as far as you were concerned? I know you had the second half to play, but did you feel like that was an important milestone in terms of finishing this game off?
I'm going to tell you one of my tricks. I don't know what the score is in the game, so I'm not bothered about the score. Sometimes, Coach, what's the score? I'm not fussed at all, because my philosophy is about, from play to play, kind of being the best. And obviously, as defensive coordinator, again, it's all about if they don't score, then if we finish the game, we must be 0-0 or we should have won. So for me, I also have that philosophy that if we can score 20 points in a half, the other team can score 21 points in the second half. So I never, for experience as a player, being there and being up against a really dominant, at the time, not so dominant team, and then losing a game where they turned it around in not just the second half, but in the fourth quarter and called back 3 or 4 scores. That's my philosophy, is always about the game's not over until that whistle goes. And don't get me wrong, when we get to the fourth quarter and the times against them scoring 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns, yes, you might start thinking, let's make sure everybody gets a lot of playing time who hasn't had much playing time. But yeah, it's I I still have the same motion coming out of the second half as if it was the first half, and it's not in a cliche. I don't go, it's 0-0. I actually think it's 0-0, and I still expect the team to maintain that same level of commitment and energy and drive in the second half.
So that was the scoring complete as far as the first half was concerned. Just incidentally, if you are out there watching, you want to get involved, it'd be great if you can put some questions to Jason and to Alex, keep them on the toes. Remember, on Twitter, you can use the hashtag behind the play and you can put a question there. And if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, drop a question in the comments section and just make sure you put a Q before that question so that we know what you're wanting to ask. So, boys, back to the second half then. And Jason, it was a little bit more of the same. Those running backs, your four horsemen, got themselves going, but another penalty brings a long ball back and then a turnover at the start again. What message do you give to your offense? You mentioned about not worrying about the score. What message do you give to your offense, which almost puts you on the back foot coming into that second half with the penalties and then a turnover?
Anybody knows me as a coach, there are quite a few looks. I like to have lots of looks, and a lot of positional coach regard to making sure they have a conversation. Believe it or not, we kind of analysed where a lot of these penalties were coming down to, and it was just, in some cases, them just being overhyped to really perform really well, or deciding to forget what the rule book was at that point in time and having to be refreshed what needs to happen next. That happens a lot in under 19, even with veteran players. But actually, I always use the term stay frosty. Let's go out there and do what we know I expect you guys to do. And they did that. So I always expect penalties and mistakes, because that's life and that happens, be it that you're 6 or 60, and you learn and grow from that. So for me, it's as long as you learn and grow from that, in the end of the day, they walked away with a championship, and a lot of them learned and said to me afterwards, Coach, do you know what? I won't make those mistakes again when I come to a big game or any game. So success there, because they did learn.
And Alex, you mentioned earlier on about this offense taking its time to get going, and you know, in other games as well. But just talk us through those four backs you've got, those four horsemen. As a linebacker, when you're in practice, I assume there are different ways and different methods of stopping each of them. Number one part of this question: what's it like for you stand on the sidelines watching these guys going and the problems they give to an offense, to an opposing defense rather? And then number two, from a linebacker perspective or a defensive perspective, what do you need to do in order to make them less effective in practice? And ultimately, if you're making them less effective in practice, that's making them better on game day. So,
well, first of all, just seeing them like storm down the field is always a great feeling. Like just seeing one of your running backs run 70 yards and just like trample past people, that always puts you in a good mood. And then that inflates the mood of the team. And then when you go out on defense, you've just seen, you can see the other team with their heads low, like you know that they really are feeling it. So it just brings up the mood in the team and boosts the morale. So that's great. And then in terms of playing them, well, because with our four different running backs, they're all quite different and they all have their own skill set. Some like Temi particularly is shifty, and then Keenan was really physical, and then Lennox and Nick are a bit in between. And so in practice, you have to use all your skill, breaking down, and then you got to be physical against the right running backs, and then be more cautious and patient against, the shiftier backs. And so you've really got to use like your entire skill set to try and bring them down, which has really, really helped me as a defensive player. And then I'm playing with Temi at the NFL Academy, so I still get to go against him on a daily basis, which is great.
We're watching now, Coach Henry. We're just bringing up for you that second touchdown from Sophocles. It was a receiver that really was outstanding on the day. We'll just see the VT here. But he looks unstoppable in a one-to-one situation, especially over the middle. Can you just talk a little bit to that as we watch his play action under pressure, and there he is catching the ball again in the end zone? How good a player is he one-to-one to defend?
Oh, definitely he's outstanding. He's one of those players, like quite a few, who've been playing for quite a while. So he turned up at flag, played under 17, and you can see his progression, him developing. And I always put it the challenge every year when they have a player like Leo and the guys who are younger look up to them and go, wow, you need to be that next year. So when they are in practice, it's you're senior now, you need to take it to the next level. Just remember your history. Remember Josh, remember all these different players who may have scored 7 touchdowns a season or 8 touchdowns a season. you show me something different now. And that's what they do. So they bring it. So they bring in practice, they then bring in game day. And actually, that's their own bubble of swagger, swag. They can all of a sudden be confident in themselves and their ability. And he done that. He had a great time at GB. He actually dropped more balls than he should have. And he hadn't practiced an awful lot because he was on I'd about to say residential, but he was away in Norway for quite a few weeks and missed a couple of games. So it was really rusty. So we had to get him back and put him in Cotton to get him ready for this final. But as I said, if it wasn't him, someone else would have stepped up and had the game of their life. But he definitely said he's got his whole future in front of him. He keeps working as hard as he works. Then again, we could have a completely different conversation in 2 or 3 years' time in regard to where his career's exploded to next. But yeah.
Fantastic. And Alex, at this point in the game, I mean, the game's, difficult, if not impossible, for EKP to come back. But how important and what do you do as a player on the field to keep yourself and your teammates motivated as a defence to keep stopping that ball moving down the field? How do you keep the focus and not just think about, we've got a championship coming up soon?
Well, with EKP, actually, they kept us on our toes like the whole game. And I think towards the end, definitely in the fourth quarter, they had this second or third quarter as well. They had this sort of second wind, and the running game really became more physical. And it was a really tough game. I had to miss a series or two because I got really bad cramps in the third quarter and had to go and sit out. And then in the fourth quarter, they were running extremely physically, even though they were down on the scoreboard. So I think them bringing their intensity and aggression fuels you to then take yours again to the next level. And then just seeing your teammates next to you, you never want to let them down, especially on the big stage in a big game like this. So it's just looking to either side of you and then looking in front of you and just motivating yourself off the energy of the players around you, really, and just trying to be the best possible player you can be.
Fantastic. And sticking to that defensive theme, Coach Henry, that Q4 goal line stand, I often think that's like the mark of champions. If you can keep a team out, keep a clean slate when they're right there knocking on the door, even when it doesn't matter. That must have been a good feeling for you. So how important was it for you and that defense to keep EKP out of your end zone?
You could tell I'm a storyteller, so a lot of this time to talk about lots of stories. And it was strange. We played early in the season and they hadn't conceded the point. And then right at the end, death of one game, we conceded 6 points. Right at the end, lots of backups up. Last play of the game, they ran in and scored a touchdown. Even though we'd won by 40 points, you think the team had lost. They were so despondent that they'd conceded 6 points. That kind of set themselves up, because that was nothing to do with me, because I was like, we won. It's in the history books. It could have been 1-0, 6-0. It doesn't matter. We won, but they were despondent. So when it becomes a personal challenge to them, and that's what they love being in games. They want to feel like they've achieved something. So I feel proud of them because I feel proud about the teams we're playing because they kept going and they wanted to score, and I feel proud about my team because defensively they wanted to stop them. And they won that battle because, for me, EKP could easily have scored and brought the pride back to, being able to score in the final. It's not nice not being able to score on somebody. So, yes, I was really proud of them. And it does, for me, I'll talk about them in a decade's time. Do you remember back in 2019, there was a team who, worked really hard to keep the team out of the end zone. Could you be like them? So, yeah.
And then the realisation, Jason, of another national crown. Most of us don't get to experience even one national title. We know that you've experienced numerous. Talk us through that moment when that Gatorade bath comes, and is that something you ever get used to? Are you a fan of that sort of that end product? And at that moment in time, like you said earlier on, you said about it's almost a come down at the end of the game. But just describe those emotions there.
Yeah. So I was a bit younger the first time they tried to do that. So I think I ran about 60 yards and they just got me glancing. So I'm too old and heavy now to outrun them. So I strategically told 2 coaches and one to remove and empty all the water. And somehow that message got misled. went off somewhere. So again, the kids love it, and I feel wet, but it's like it's for them that it's the point of where they feel they need to celebrate with their coach, not just themselves. So I feel proud for the coaches and myself because they're happy, they've won something. So I won't say I don't mind. I hate being wet. I didn't bring a change of clothes at all, so I soaked all the way home. But it's a nice feeling when you win a championship. But I'd rather been dry with that nice feeling.
And Alex, from a player's perspective, obviously we've already mentioned you've got one more year at under 19 level. So how do you motivate yourself now, having just won it all and having one more season with the Blitz under 19s? How do you motivate yourself to come back and do it all again?
Well, it's just like you've got to continue the legacy. Coming from Blitz, every year we expect to win, and coach always says that if we do what he tells us to do, then we'll win the championship, and if you don't, you won't. So that's like the same philosophy every year and the same desire to win. And you always want to win. I wouldn't want to end my under 19 career without losing a championship. And every year I've been with the Blitz. I've been with them for 2 years now. We've won both years. So it's just like every year you just want to be a better team than the rest. And there's such a it's such a huge legacy being part of the Blitz. You want to continue that and pass it on to the next generation.
Well, gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the sort of highlights analysis section. First of all, we're just going to ask Jason just to stay on for a few minutes and just have a chat through with him about various parts of his storied history in under-19 Britbowl. But for now, Alex, can we just thank you for your time with us and wish you all the very best in your endeavours to try and get to the NCAA. And I'm sure we'll be hearing not only more about you in the Britbowl community next year at under-19 level, but again with your future endeavours. So once again, Alex, thanks ever so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you.
So, Jason, Carl, great to hear from both the lads there about their experiences, both from under the helmet and on the sideline. But you and me both, and obviously you're a defensive coordinator and a motivational speaker, and you like the psychology parts of things. And I think now it'd be a really great opportunity, seeing as we've got Coach Henry on the line, to find out a little bit more about him and what makes him tick.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure to speak to Coach, who's had such a storied history and also won 7 national championships at under-19 level. And I guess we've got to start there, Coach, and just ask the question, for all the coaches listening out there, 7 national championships, what's the secret? Tell us how you did it.
Do you know what? Like everybody else, I had a plan. I had a 5-year plan. Being a player, I've kind of had that journey. So I started with the Eden Eagles and as a player, and we wasn't as successful, and we was on a lower tier. And I was never the greatest athlete or sportsman, but I was determined to win a championship. And then I started to really analyse the game. So when I became a coach and working with the youngsters, I kind of give them that commitment. If they kind of do what I asked them and all the other coaches asked them, it's never to be superhuman, just to kind of time to train in, to execute the play, then I guarantee they'll have success. They normally translate that success to be winning championships, but success might be to get to college, to go to high school, go to university, or just enjoy football. So yeah, my philosophy in those 7 championships has been, it's grown, and the way I've approached it has also grown as I've grown as a person. So now it's a lot easier because people tend to go, well, you've won 5, so we'll listen a little bit more. You've won 6. So we'll listen a little bit more. You've won 7. Actually, you've got our full attention now, Coach. What do we need to do next? And again, it's normally all the classes that every other coach wants to do. Turn up to training, do the work, make sure you enjoy the sport.
Yeah, it sounds like what you're saying is, there's no shortcuts to this stuff. You've got to put in the work. What keeps you motivated year on year to come back and work with these young men? What keeps you motivated to keep doing the work that you do?
Do you know what? Like a lot of coaches, I did coach adult football with the Blitz. I was play coaching when I say younger, but earlier on. And then I did a lot of youth work. And I saw the difference that working with young people made. And so I felt it was more important to kind of impact a youngster in 3, 4, 5 years of their sort of time in the club, and to grow not just a football player, but it sounds cliche, but a great person, a great human being, somebody that you can kind of be proud of. And Alex is sat here and I'm proud, and he's articulating himself about regards to what he wants to do, and that makes me proud. So the pride piece is really important, and I get really proud. So that motivates me to come back. It's a new batch of kids, all those kids who've now grown 16 inches and are more smarter than I am, and want to play football, evolve, or learn, and want to become a coach. And then I think, right, I'm excited about next year. So yeah, it's very easy for me to finish the season and be excited about how do we make this work next year? How do we get the flag working next year? How do we get the youth working next year? How do we get them to enjoy it? How do we get to grow as a club and as a sport?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, working with youth programs and under-19 programs, had success at both. What's the key when you're working with young guys like that? What do you see if the coaches want to get into? Do you see there's a difference between working with adults and younger men and women now? Do you see the difference, and what is it? What's the key to working with those younger people?
Definitely, I say. Remember, when you work with youngsters, you've only got a finite time frame before they become an adult. Whereas they're an adult, they can play football into their 40s. So that's one of the things. But it's also the capacity to learn, which is key. So I love that, because it's almost like an acorn. You don't know, and again, if you're not too sure what an acorn looks like, if someone gives you a bunch of seeds, you just have to plant them, water them, look after them, and they'll sprout into whatever it's going to be. The other two words I use an awful lot is the difference between talent, which is something, and potential. So a lot of coaches are used to looking for talent when they have rookie days for adults and see talent, but they may see a kid turn up who's is small or undersized, but they don't see the potential as such. They may see potential to change his position or put him in, but with me, every kid who turns up at 7 years old or 9 years old, have all got potential, and that potential means that it's great for me. So some of the kids who perform now, like a Leo, was potential, wasn't talent when they first started. So lots of plays, I focus on the potential piece, and the talent will come.
Brilliant. Let's just ask you lastly, what's next for Coach Henry? 7 national titles. What's next for you when this lockdown ends? Are we going to see you out and about doing the same that you've done before, or is there something new in the pipeline?
So you can tell I'm fatigued today because I'm rambling. So this morning I was a COVID-19 officer, and we had our first phase 1. So we had the youngsters out, and so we're really focusing on flag. And I love flag. My kids have played flag and developed and grown. So I'm super excited for the flag season. Fingers crossed. Is still going to take place, because we've got some real potential and talent in our flag team. So, yeah, I was thinking about retiring, but no, I'll be back for next year, because we've missed a year now. So now I need to get back and put all that energy into making sure that the London Blitz stays on the map.
All right. Absolute pleasure to speak to you, Coach Henry. Glad to see you still be around next year. And all the very best for the future. Fantastic interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you all what you're doing for the sport.
Thank you very
Back
much,
to you,
Coach.
Matt.
Once again, thank you, Carl. Once again, it's been fantastic to have both Coach Henry and Alex Greenhalgh, under-19 linebacker for GB and the NFL Academy, with us this afternoon. So once again, thank you two guys. And again, Carl, 3 weeks down, we've seen a fantastic Britbowl final with the the Warriors and the Phoenix. In week 1, we looked at the women's game that we commentated on last week between Finland and GB, and spoke to Phoebe Schechter and Jim Messenger, Jason Scott the weekend before that. And now we've had the pleasure of 7-time national champion winner Jason Henry, and potentially, who knows, an NFL linebacker in the making in Alex Greenhalgh this week. What a first 3 weeks, Carl.
It's been amazing. It's been great looking back at the games, and it's given me, I was watching them, it's given me a few goosebumps and remembering certain times and certain moments, and getting behind the plays with these coaches and players has just been fantastic. I'm looking forward. And this is the best we can do, Matt, without having live football, right? So I'm excited about what's going to come next.
And speaking of that, Carl, on live football, very briefly before we go, obviously you're involved with NTU. Have you been able to do anything regarding preparations for what hopefully will be an upcoming university season?
I know the teams have been meeting. I know that the offense coordinator, head coach, other coaches, we've done some good recruitment in the off-season around coaching. We've tried to put together as much as we can online. There's been a lot of coaches within the NTU team, you know, really going deep with some stuff that they haven't had an opportunity to look at before. Playbooks have been revised, players have been spoken to, committees have been meeting. Yeah, the activity never stops. You know, there's an enthusiasm for this game all over the country, and all of those teams, I'm sure, have been doing what NTU has done and other teams have done, which is to prep as best you can given the situation, and just keep your fingers crossed and hope that we will have a good university season when it comes up.
Well, Carl, it's been great to be able for me to chat to you again. Obviously, we started this a while back on the back of a van with Steve and Tom, and we've come a long way since then. And I think hopefully this is being received around the country, as you said, as we don't have a great deal of football going on. So thanks for your time this afternoon, Carl, and we'll see you again soon, buddy.
Brilliant. I'll see you soon, Matt. Thanks very much.